daughter was taken and sent abroad 44 years later. They found each other. Imagine the agony of a mother's worst nightmare. One moment, your child is there, playing innocently. The next, vanished. For Han Tae-soon, this nightmare became a devastating reality in May 1975. In the bustling city of Seoul, what followed was a 44-year odyssey of heartbreak, relentless searching, and a shocking revelation that would expose a dark chapter in South Korea's history. This is the incredible story of a mother and daughter, torn apart by a system that allegedly prioritized profit over families. Han Tae-soon vividly remembers that last exchange with her young daughter, Kyung-ha. A simple question before a trip to the market. Han Tae-soon, I was going to the market and asked Kyung-ha, aren't you coming? But she told me, no, I'm going to play with her friends. When Ms. Han returned, her world had irrevocably changed. 6-year-old Kyung-ha was gone. What followed was not just a missing child case, but the beginning of a decades-long separation orchestrated by a system now under intense scrutiny. Decades passed. Kyung-ha became Laurie Bender, a middle-aged nurse living thousands of miles away in America. Unbeknownst to her mother, Lorie's journey took a devastating detour on that fateful day in 1975. Ms. Han alleges that her daughter wasn't simply lost. Instead, Kyung-ha was allegedly kidnapped, funneled through an orphanage, and then illegally sent to the United States for adoption. Now, she's taking on the South Korean government, demanding accountability for a controversial overseas adoption program that has impacted countless families. South Korea holds the unenviable record of being the country that has sent the most children abroad for adoption and for the longest period. Since the 1950s, an estimated 170,000 to 200,000 children, the vast majority to Western nations, were sent overseas. What was initially portrayed as a humanitarian effort in the wake of the Korean War has now been revealed to have a much darker side. A recent landmark inquiry unearthed shocking truths. Successive South Korean governments allegedly turned a blind eye, allowing private agencies to operate with little oversight. The result, a system that mass exported children for profit on an industrial scale. According to the inquiry's damning findings, experts believe this could pave the way for a wave of lawsuits against the government. Ms. Han's case is pivotal. She is the first biological parent of an overseas adoptee to sue the government for damages. In a parallel landmark case in 2019, an adoptee in the U.S. also took legal action, while a government spokesman expressed deep sympathy for the pain endured by these families and acknowledged Ms. Han's case with deep regret. The legal battle is just beginning. Ms. Han, now 71, is unwavering in her pursuit of justice. I spent 44 years ruining my body and mind searching for my daughter. But in all that time, has anyone ever apologized to me? No one. Not once. For decades, Ms. Han and her husband were relentless. Police stations, orphanages, television appeals. They tried everything. Ms. Han poignantly recalls the physical toll of her desperate search. I spent all day pounding the streets looking for my daughter till all 10 of my toenails fell out. There were moments of false hope. In 1990, a woman she met after a TV appeal offered a glimmer of possibility, even living with the family for a time. But ultimately, it wasn't Kyung-ha. The breakthrough finally came in 2019. Ms. Han connected with 325 Camera, a group dedicated to reuniting overseas Korean adoptees with their birth families through DNA matching. The results were life-changing. A match of Laurie Bender, a nurse in California, was her daughter. After 44 long years, mother and daughter finally connected. The reunion was deeply emotional, a mother finally holding the child she thought she had lost forever. As they embraced, Ms. Han ran her fingers through Kyung-ha's hair. I've been a hairdresser for 30 years. I can quickly tell if it's my daughter just by feeling her hair. I had mistakenly thought I found her before, so I had to touch and feel the hair to confirm it. The first words Ms. Han spoke to her daughter were filled with a mother's enduring guilt. Han Tae-soon, I'm so sorry. I felt guilty because she couldn't find her way home when she was a child. I kept thinking about how much she must have searched for her mother. Meeting her after all those years made me realize how much she must have longed for her mother, and it broke my heart. For Lorie, the reunion brought a sense of wholeness. It's like a hole in your heart has been healed. You finally feel like a complete person. Together, they pieced the events of that day in May 1975. Kyung-ha, just 6 years old, was approached by a stranger with a devastating lie. Kyung-ha was told her mother didn't need her anymore and was taken to a train station. Abandoned at the final stop, she was eventually found by police and placed in an orphanage. Her journey to America was swift. Years later, the shocking truth emerged. Lorie was given false papers, labeling her an abandoned orphan with unknown parents. It's like you've been living a fake life and everything you know is not true. Lorie's story is not an isolated incident. South Korea's overseas adoption program began in the aftermath of the Korean War, a nation grappling with poverty and a large number of orphan children. Initially, it was seen as a necessary solution. However, the program, largely run by private agencies with increasing autonomy, evolved into something far more complex and, critics argue, deeply flawed. Driven by demand from the West and allegedly fueled by profit, the mass transportation of children, as the Truth and Reconciliation Commission described it, reached its peak in the 1970s and 80s. The inquiry highlighted disturbing accounts, including a tragic case of a lactose-intolerant child who died after being fed milk on a flight in 1974. Even as South Korea's economy boomed, the flow of children overseas continued, raising questions about why so many children needed to be sent abroad. A 1976 BBC Panorama documentary painted a stark picture, with one observer describing it as an out-of-control trade in children. Flowing from Asia into Europe and North America. The Truth and Reconciliation Report further alleges that foreign adoption agencies set quotas, which Korean agencies readily filled, creating a profitable, yet ethically questionable, business. Hidden fees, disguised as donations, allegedly line the pockets of these agencies due to a lack of robust government oversight. Now, Han Tae-soon's fight for justice represents a turning point. Her lawsuit, along with others, could force South Korea to confront the painful legacy of its overseas adoption program and finally offer accountability to the countless families who were torn apart. After 44 years of searching, a mother and daughter have found each other, but the scars of the past remain. The question now is whether the South Korean government will finally take responsibility for a system that allegedly enabled such profound and lasting pain. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories.